Hello everyone. Welcome to our new session of the Out of the Box Developer Podcast. And we are here with our awesome team and our awesome guests. Today we're talking about unlock your career with open source and open chat. And for that we have two awesome guests here, Helber Belmiro from Red Hat and Matheus Cruz from Itaú. But first I want to quickly say hello to our team, and then I will ask them to present themselves, okay? So, Chila, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, Luis. Good evening, everyone here. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation, and I'm happy that we have got two guests today, Helber and Matheus, and both are experienced in regarding open source. So I'm looking forward for their experiences tonight.
Nice. I'm also very um, happy with this subject here. Tiago, how are you doing?
Hello, John. I'm great. I'm glad to be here talking and knowing more and learning more about open source. Have here amazing guests, and yeah, we are use open source, right? So it's really good to know more about it and also know from the guys that are doing this kind of amazing software.
Nice. How about you, Igor? How are you doing?
Hi, Luis. Hi, Thiago Tila. Hi, Elber, and everyone that's gonna join us yet. Great subject. I have a lot of questions about it. I'm a fan of open source for a very long time, even before becoming a programmer or a software engineer. What I wanted was freedom and stay away of the evil empire of Microsoft back then. Because I didn't have a very powerful hardware many years ago, and I just wanted something that works. And that was Linux back then. I wasn't able to afford to Mac was for richer. The time of Macintosh, you remember those old looks like a 14 inches TV, small TV. This first Macintosh, no way. I didn't never had one of those. So I went with Linux, and Java was the first open source that I got in touch with Linux and all that stuff. And right now, many years after, I discovered that I also can contribute for open source, and that increases my career and my visibility a lot. And from what we have talked, and this is, of course, we will be discussing about it. We'll have questions for Albert, for Matheus about that, and looking forward for this awesome session. So I'm glad to be here as well.
Nice. So let's talk about Helber Belmiro. Helber, how are you doing? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you are working related to open source right now?
Yeah, hello everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Looking forward for the discussion. Uh, I'm a software engineer. I work at Red Hat. For those who don't know, Red Hat is the biggest open source company in the world. So yeah, everything that Red Hat does is open source. So we have I have lots of experience. All that I do today professionally and even my uh, on my spare time is open source 100%. So yeah, looking forward to discuss with you.
Nice. So back then, I remember that the first time I heard about open source, it was only related to Linux. And now I think everyone uses at least one app or one operating system that are open source and don't even know about it. So, can you maybe tell us some applications that people use in a daily basis that they usually don't know that it's open source, like Android or anyone else and anything else?
Luis, even the entire Microsoft has open source these days to see how things have
Sure.
changed.
Yeah, besides Linux, Linux is, I think, the most obvious example. Uh, but most of the programming languages are open source as well. We are we are here among developers, so probably all of us use an open source language, like for example Java or Go, that are the languages that I work with. So Python, JavaScript, all of those languages are open source projects. Anyone can contribute. Anyone can participate in the community. So yeah, these probably are the most used ones, but there are several others, uh, like Firefox, the browser is open source, or VS Code, like Igor mentioned that Microsoft does open source. VS Code is open source. Uh, like yeah, there are many projects and companies like Microsoft that we don't think that does open source, does, like Google, Apple. Apple, for example, has the Swift language, the language that we do apps for iOS, the operational system for iPhone. So Swift is open source as well. So open source is everywhere.
Nice.
And maybe you that are watching us, maybe you can put here on the chat some application that you use that you know that it's open source. Because yes, like Albert said, there are many open source application, many. The frameworks, most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I want to
interesting
say,
that the Swift language from Apple is open source, since Apple is one of the most closed systems, right? They try to close it all, even their own hardware and their software. So maybe they did that as a movement, like Microsoft did, to make the language accessible for more developers, and in a way of inviting them to collaborate into their ecosystem. It's a strategic movement. Not sure.
Uh, Apple even contributes to the project that I work today.
Mm.
I primarily on Kubeflow, which is a platform for AI, and Apple also contributes to that. So in the Kubeflow community, I have I'm in touch with people from Apple. So
Oh, that's great. They contribute with developers or with hardware, with frameworks?
with developers, yeah.
Oh,
One of the
that's
leaders of the community actually is from Apple.
that's it. So they have employees from Apple that are contributing on open source projects. They are not doing that on their free time. They are actually working for Apple while contributing on these projects.
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe so.
Oh,
I can't say for sure, but I think they are.
so they're putting money on that. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
just want to say hello to everyone that are watching us. Hello, Gabriel.
You know,
José Guilherme just mentioned that. Just mentioned Keycloak. And Andres is here again with us. Hello, Andres. So he said almost all I use is open source except in my current job, where I'm forced to use a Mac.
yeah, but Mac, if you see, it runs Unix under the hood, so you're using open source, even with a beautiful Apple skin. So there are lots of open source into that.
And he also mentioned from the OS, Linux to the IDE IntelliJ community, the browser Brave, you name it. Yes, I don't think that anyone today are not using any open source. There are lots of great projects, so it's almost impossible not to use anything, right?
Yes, and I think most of the applications are deployed or in a Linux based image, something like that. Use Docker or Kubernetes. So yes, I think it's
So
Yeah.
you're talking about companies using open source and contributing to open source. So if today a company needs to use some specific projects, they can maybe hire people that are contributing to these projects. Do you know anything about that?
Uh, yeah, am I am an employee that and I contribute to this Kubeflow project. I am hired specifically for that. It's all that I do at Red Hat. Uh, so yeah, probably those people from Apple that contribute to Kubeflow, they probably are allocated specifically for that, or even uh, people that writes the programming languages like Java, for example. At Red Hat, there are several people that are exclusively working on the Java on the virtual machine, or for example, going to another company, Go, the programming language Go. It's created by Google, so there are employees, Google employees that work 100% of their time on Go and so on. And even frameworks, or maybe a company that's not even an IT company can hire engineers for contribute to a project so they can have um, an expert on that subject inside the company and fix bugs in quicker than they would be fixed by the community. So there are these several ways that companies hire people for working with open source.
Yeah, Albert, since you mentioned that, and I've heard a lot about that, especially with Red Hat, that they usually tend to look who's contributing substantially to the projects, and they invite these collaborators to be part of Red Hat. Has this happened to anyone on your team? Let's say you see a guy that from the community that is very active on Kubeflow or any other projects you've been working, and then you guys just talked between you on Red Hat. This guy would be a great fit for our team, and inviting him to join Red Hat. Has this ever happened to you?
Uh, Not yet. There's one guy that I know that is in the process of getting hired, and he's from the community. But he's in the middle of the process. It didn't happen yet.
Mhm.
Uh, in my team, in my close circle, there's this only one. But yeah, it's for sure that happens because it's what makes sense. Uh, for example, Matheus, who who is here in the meeting today, um, I knew him because of his contributions to the Quarkus OpenAPI generator, which I am maintainer of this project, and he started contributing, and I knew him from his contributions, and that we became friends. And for example, if in my team we needed someone with his skills, with which knows Java and Quarkus and this kind of stuff, I would recommend him for sure, because I know him, I know his skills, I know he's a nice guy. He communicates well. Uh, he has all the abilities that we need. Uh, so he's much likely to be hired than someone that we don't know. For example, we get someone from an interview. We saw their resume on LinkedIn, and then we go do a interview with them. But we don't know much things about this person. But Matheus, I know him because I work with him in the community. So it's much more uh, likely to hire Matheus than someone else that we never worked with.
That's interesting. And how did you met him? It was through the pull requests or commits, or how that
Yeah,
happened?
pull request straight direct in a pull request. He started contributing, and quickly he became the third contributor, the third top contributor. There are two maintainers in this project, me and Ricardo Zanini, and we are the top two contributors because we are maintainers, and he's the third one. So taking the maintainers aside, he's the top contributor in this project. And because of his contributions, besides knowing us, me and Ricardo, we invited him to become maintainer in the project as well. And today he's a maintainer.
Oh,
Nice.
that's amazing.
This is
Since
this
you
is
mentioned,
yeah. This
since
is
you mentioned Matheus, he's here.
okay. Hey, Matheus.
Hi everyone.
Matheus.
Thank you.
The subject has just arrived the room, guys.
Yeah. Talking about Matheus, he's here. Welcome,
Yeah.
Matheus. Can you introduce yourself and say something about your work with open source projects?
Perfect. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Matheus Cruz. Actually, I'm the office. Actually, I'm a software engineer, more specifically a platform engineer working at Itaú. And as Helber said, I am contributing with some projects, more specifically with Quarks stuff, Quarks extensions, Quarks Rock, and the Quarks core with some commits, and helping some people to start contributing with open source. One time, Helber helped me, and now I'm helping another contributors to start. Actually, I think I helped 3 or 4 new contributors to Quarkus extensions. And basically, it's my presentation. And thank you again to invite me to this great panel.
Great. Thanks
We're
to
happy to have
join
you
us, Matheus. Thanks for being with us here. And since you already helped 3 or 4, what advice can you give it to us and to our audience so you can help even a lot more people, us and also who is watching us, to get started on contributing on open source? Since we could see from what we've talked with Helber how these open doors, and that's interesting for everyone. I believe that can make the effort to do that. Which advice would you give to anyone that wants to start contributing?
Okay, it's a good question. I think that the first thing that you need to see and to search is the documentation. But before, it's not the documentation, but to use that technology. By example, if you want to contribute with Quarkus, I think that you need to firstly use Quarkus and to follow that documentation, because in the documentation, example Quarkus, Spring, whatever, you will find some gaps. You can find a command that is not updated with the code base, for example, and you can get some errors using that technology. Okay, I think that second one is to see all issues in that repository. For example, Quarkus OpenAPI generator has some issues, and you can see a label called a good first issue. Then you can filter the issue, all issues of the repository, and to see the issue labeled as good first issue. Good first issue is an issue uh, that you can get to start contributing. You can get help with for maintainers, but you can talk it alone and walk alone. Sorry, in that contribution. Um, I think that there are obviously there are more steps and advices to start with contributing. And I think that the last one, in my opinion, okay, we have more, but for now, is to get a maintainer and talk with him, with her, okay, because the network is very important. Sometimes I asked Helber Belmiro some things about the project, not only Helber Belmiro, but with Ricardo Zanini and the Quarkus Zulip chat too, asking some core maintainers and to talk with the maintainers to know more about the project, to solve some questions that you have. Okay.
Great.
And be resilient too, because you need to have patience. You get some problems, but you need to be patient and resilient too, I think.
Great, great. So you got in touch. Probably you were using that feature and you found stuff that you see as an improvement, and then you wanted to contribute with that, right?
Yeah, it's the first step that I think that makes sense.
If you
Awesome.
are watching us and you have some questions for Helber and Matheus, please share with us in the chat. We already have our first question here from Pedro. Hello, Pedro. Hello, everyone. He said, so open source is the present and the future. Do you think open source LLMs are the future of AI? Thanks for the question, Pedro.
I think it's not the future; it's already AI, because we have so many open source models nowadays, like Llama or several others. So I think it's the way that it's the future of AI, definitely.
And even getting the hook about AI, how do you guys see the contributions on the open source projects being impacted by the usage of AI? Do you see any contributors using AI to help solve anything or generating code, and this has increased the number of bad contributions, or on the other hand it has increased the contribution substantially? Have you guys seen something like that?
I didn't see a change in contributions yet. I use AI for coding today, but I don't see yet this change in the number of contributions or the quality of the contributions. I'm not sure how many people are using AI for that. Uh, Maybe not that much. I think there are still some I think there are many people that thinks that is wrong use AI, that they are cheating if they use AI for coding. If it like oh, people who uses AI for coding, they are not good. So then they need to use AI for that. So I think there are many people that think that way. But I think in the short in the near future, uh, this will increase a lot. And there are several tools that review code using AI as well. All right, like Copilot, for example, and several others.
Good. And these reviewers you have in the pipeline of these projects, like in the code flow is your project, right? Okay. Yeah. Do you have AI reviewer in the pipeline?
Not in Kubeflow yet. We are in process of adding it. I contribute to two projects. There are Kubeflow and a fork of it, a fork of Kubeflow, which is which targets OpenShift. So Kubeflow is for vanilla Kubernetes, and we have this other project that is Open Data Hub, which is a fork of Kubeflow, and it targets OpenShift specifically. In Open Data Hub, we already have this reviewer. You can see in the pull requests to Open Data Hub, but in Kubeflow we didn't add it yet. But yeah, it looks great. It gives good reviews. Sometimes it hallucinates as usual, but yeah, in general it's quite good.
All right. That was my question, how it performs. If it performs good, that's an ally.
Yeah.
Great. We have another question in the chat. So José Guilherme, he's asking about these issues. There are some that were created years ago. Can I fix these errors, or this keep on a kind of a limbo?
Great question.
Actually, I think Matheus, sorry, because I shared here a link
Yes.
for a first good issues on the Quarkus. I find some on the quick start, but I think you can answer him because Jose asked before if you could share some URLs with repositories to contribute. So yeah, you can contribute here with the answer.
Yeah, I recommend Josette to ask the maintainers before starting the contribution because the issue is so old and probably or not, it depends. Probably the issue was solved by a person, but okay, send a message, and that issue and see if the contributors looks if the issue was solved or not. Okay.
I think it would be great here. Sorry, I entered late here together with Matheus. I couldn't. I was doing my a shake because I was like Matheus. I was at work yet, and I couldn't eat anything, so I was in a rush. And want to welcome Helber, Matheus. Thanks for being here. Would be interesting if you actually both of you, if you have some project that you maintain actually and could be interesting to Jose to start. If you have any good first issue, if doesn't, or maybe you can refer for some, because what I did was I entered the Quarkus repository and just get the first one that I find a good first issue label. Probably there's a lot of extensions, right, that is being developed.
And these ones that you brought, they are very old. They are for 2020.
Yeah, I see. It was 2019. Yeah, so I haven't realized the dates.
Maybe they have already been solved.
Maybe what Matheus said on the beginning, maybe if you wanna use some application like Quarks, go through the documentation, and the chances are there will be some thing that are incorrect, like a link or something else, a word, a pronunciation, I don't know, something, and then you can contribute on this kind of thing, and probably this will be accepted because it's something up to date, and they will want to have this fixed.
You mean on the documentation, Thiago?
Yes. Reading the
Yeah.
documentation, and you
Yeah.
can also learn if you don't find any error or any problem. You learn something that you want to use or you are using, so it's only benefits.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
uh,
found several of those, Thiago, on Spring AI. They've been working lately. They major open release with a, a very big change from the milestone. So the documentation has several pages that are outdated. And but I didn't open the pull requests to update those, so maybe I will open some pull requests there to get my started. But that
it,
was something that I was going to ask. There are no
Before
good first open issues open for that, so I would be the one that needs to open those issues to work, right?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can start in creating an issue too.
Should I reach out to the maintainers before opening this issue?
Usually there are a page in the root of the repo, like a contributing page,
Yeah.
and you should take a look at that because depending on the project, they have specific rules that you have to follow, like creating an issue, or if it's just a small contribution like a typo or something, you can just send the pull request without creating an issue. But it depends on the project, right? So always before doing your first contribution, try to look at this contributing page or even in the website of the project, see how to contribute because it depends on the project.
I see. See, thanks.
I think both Helber and Matheus shared here a very nice repositories where they actually share what issues they are working on and that you can actually start helping with. I think it's worth sharing here. So I sent the Helber's repository. I will send the Matheus one. Both, I think, the same idea, right? They are listing the, let me just place here the repository link. And so you can go there and check out here. Helber have some repositories with the open. These are all open issues, Helber.
Yeah. So you may find someone that is already closed. I try to keep this up to date, but I never. Sometimes I don't remember to update that. But yeah, that's
A place
a
to
good.
look after, right?
Sorry.
It's a good place to look after if you want to start
Yeah.
contributing open source.
maybe our first contribution can be on this project.
Oh yeah, update this. Yeah, that's great. I think
It's a good way for you to learn how to create a pull request because it's a very simple contribution.
exactly. I think I think it was Igor asked about the if you have to ask if you can create a PR or not, and you can check the contributions page. And yeah, most of the, especially those small issues, probably people won't be opening issues all the time for small things. But if you identify, I identified a lot on the getting started repos where they have all the instructions to start working with some library, and sometimes it was outdated or misconfigured. And I made a lot of contribution on that way to be to help the repository, because the guy won't be looking and creating issues for fixing some documentation, and it is a very good start point, at least for me, a very good advice to, because you won't be breaking anything. You're just changing documentation, and yeah, that might be a great start if you, Jose, right? If you want to. So take a look here. Might be interesting to work with. I have plenty of questions actually with AI stuffs, but I want to go back on the very beginning when I were talking about the benefits of working with open source, creating you can connect with people, and I think that's one of the most valuable thing, when you can actually get to know, connect, and create this trust relationship environment, like you get to know Matheus Cruz within the project, and so for those people, I believe that want to be starting with open source, I believe that also a challenge to to make these steps. Maybe lots of people thinks it will be just code contributing and not not getting the most, that is connecting and getting to talk with others. So for those people, any recommendations you give to improve this outcome when contributing with open source, that is not just the code itself, but actually uh, getting to know other developers, and especially those that somehow you are interested to work with. Maybe it's the same project, the same thing, the things that you want to be part of or being working with. So do, do you have any advices for these people? Let me just hide the screen here. I think we can be back to have better experience and better outcomes when contributing in open source, not just creating pull requests and code.
Yeah, it's a great question. Can you talk first, Albert, or I can?
Yeah, I can give Matheus as an example again. I always like to mention Matheus because he's a very good example of someone that I knew in the community uh, because of the contributions. Uh, and Matheus is doing lots of contributions to Quarkus. He connected to the creators of Quarkus, the main leaders of Quarkus, and this is amazing. And I can see that in the community happening. It's not because he told me; I see that happening. I think you already, Matheus, you spoke at the Quarkus main channel. I don't remember the name right now.
Actually, no.
No,
No.
but yeah, but you know, for example, Max Anderson, which it's
Yeah.
probably the biggest guy in Quarkus. So yeah, that's the kind of connections that you get. You connect to the greatest engineers in the planet. Yeah. So
Yeah.
It's
imagining
amazing.
yourself connecting to the top guy of the top framework that you work with. So and this is not only for Quarkus. I have a friend that is contributing to Node.js, and he connected to the leaders of Node.js. And it's not hard to connect with those people because there are not many contributors. There are not many people contributing to open source. So it's relatively easy to connect with those people. There are many projects, for example, that has a community call that anyone can join, and
Yeah.
in those calls, the leaders discuss things that are happening in the project, things, roadmaps, and things that they are working on. They ask for contributors in the people that are attending the meeting. So yeah, that's a great way for you to connect with these community leaders and amazing people. That there are so many things to get from these people.
And
I,
Elber, where these connections and these calls happen? They happen in Discord, in Slack, they happen through GitHub. I understood that the first step started contributing through GitHub on code, on first good issues, open pull requests. But where did you, Matheus, get in touch with these people from Quarkus? They saw your value and what you were contributing, but then you did a next step to connect with these people. Where this happened?
okay. Um Depending on the project, for example, Quarkus has the Quarkus Zulip chat. It's a community. Some projects, for example, Dapper has the Discord channel. You can enter in the Discord. Uh, you can see in the repository of the project and see what is the community, what is the social media are the project using. You can see those info in that repository, or you can create. Depends on the project. For example, a bigger project probably will have those communities. Community call, as Albert said. Okay, I would like to answer the Hugo question, or one important thing that I think in open source is not only about code, is to share knowledge too, and contributing with open source with OpenAPI generator. I have the opportunity to to share knowledge about it because I am contributing with the project, and when I contributed with the project, I have knowledge about that, and you can share that knowledge. Uh, you can contribute with open source, not only with documentation, code, but talking about it, talking about Quarks, about Spring, about Micronauts, about Golang or Kubernetes. You can talk about it, about the project, and share the knowledge. Write an article, uh, applying to the TDC. Uh, I had that experience to talk in TDC with George Gastald. George Gastald is the top three or top four maintainer. George Gastald is a Brazilian guy. Uh, and I had the opportunity to talk in TDC, the biggest events in Brazil. Okay, and it was great to me, uh, and the doors are opening yet, and it's a great uh, answering the Hugo question. I have this experience. It's a great experience. Okay.
Great. I would like to, if anyone to, I would like to add one more question here, but just want to say hello to Antonio Marcos. Hello, Antonio Marcos from Belo Horizonte. He's a friend of mine, watching us. Great to have you here. And for both of you, I do suspect that more than the size of the contribution, that complexity of the contribution that you do, seems like consistency seems to be more a impactful to have to have some valuable thing, or to actually being a part of the community. You can do many if you do, even with small contributions, but if you do it consistently, you
Yeah.
f- it feels like you are already part of the community, and seems like it has more effect. Or yeah, it is like, oh, we are just hanging around together all the time because I'm contributing all the time in the same project. Does it make sense for you? I see less talking about it, but everyone that I see in the open source community that has really big impact, they are all everyone is very consistent, independent of the complexity or the way they do contribute.
Yeah, and I started my contribution with Mauricio Salatino,
Oh yeah.
and I started contributing with a Golang project and a Spring project and Kubernetes project without focus. And you don't have an impact in that project. You have uh, uh, some impact, but it's a little impact. It's not a bigger impact. When I decided to focus on one technology or one context, for example, Quarkus is you can create microservices, it's Java, okay, it's backend, it's a context. It's Kubernetes native, it's a context. When you focus on a context, I think that your impact is it's better. Then I talked with Helber and said, Helber, I want to contribute with Quarkus. I want to focus in the Quarkus, and I want to be to have, for example, in the last year, I added a goal where I will be I will have 50 commits in the quarks. Oh, sorry. My goal is to be the 700 top contributor, and I added a goal in my career and the focus. I I don't need to look now to Spring. I want to look now for Quarkus. It's a great a way to have an impact, and I recommend this. Albert, do you want to add some comments?
Yeah, regarding the consistency, as an example again, Matheus was very consistent contributing to Quarkus OpenAPI generator, and because he was always there, myself and Ricardo, which is the other maintainer, we remembered Matheus when we needed. So when people opened an issue, for example, and we didn't have time to look at that, we tagged Matheus. Oh, Matheus, can you take a look at this and help this guy? So if you always there, people will remember you and they will trust you. On the other side, in this very same extension, there was a guy who did a very big contribution, and it touched several files in the project. It was very hard to review. It was his first contribution. We didn't know him, but usually when we have this kind of contribution for someone who never showed in the project and it's a very big contribution, no one looks at that. It's ignored because we don't know this guy. Why would
Can
I?
be an AI.
Yeah, why would I invest my time reviewing this? I don't even know if this guy can code well, right? But in this case, we reviewed the PR and we accepted the PR, we merged, and then it broke the project. And then the guy disappeared and never showed back again. And we had to stop doing the things that we were doing to fix this issue. And it was a huge headache because the guy did a huge contribution and disappeared. So
Wow.
He dropped the bomb.
But I think it's not it's not of course probably it was not bad intention on that, but I think yeah, that's a great advice. This story is very good to because for me, before I understand better these open source stuffs, community stuffs, I was one that thinks, oh, to contribute open source I have to be a top guy and have to do big contribution to be accepted within a PR. So yeah, I never do. I will never be able to do that. and the problem is exactly the opposite. The other side is exactly looking for the opposite, right? For the small fixes that you guys are looking for the core things that is very deep, and you need help to do small things, but it is still essential. It's still helpful for the project. So yeah, that's really good example. And all this importance of the focus, right? Matheus just mentioned about having focus, not just trying to contributing in totally random project, but that one that you appreciate, you have some connection. I think make a lot of sense. So very good advices.
Since you mentioned project, Hugo, and that's a question for Matheus and for Helber. Do you believe that for a starter to starts contributing with a project that's at the beginning, like I mentioned, the Spring AI, I've found a lot of changes on the documentation since I'm playing with that, and they are evolving the framework right now. It has just been released some months ago. There are a lot of changes, a lot of work to be done. So I, I'm not sure if that's the what happens, but on these early stages, there are much more to contribute in comparison if I wanted to contribute with the Spring framework, that is a very mature framework, or even in the Quarkus, probably in Quarkus Core, it's very much more mature compared to the project that you were contributing. So the one that you got for contributing, Matheus, this was on the early stages, right? I think so.
I have experience with this. I started contributing with a new project, but I didn't consistent. It was a problem because the project was evolving, and now it's a mature project. Okay, for new contributors, it's great when you have a new project. It is like in your company, for example, when you have a new Microsoft, you be happy. Okay, it's normal. Uh, I think it's a great opportunity, but you can create a new project too. You can to give ideas to the new project. For example, the Quarkus OpenAPI generator is Quarkus extensions that generates a server client and client, REST client, and I you can propose new features, new projects, new extensions, new. You can do it too, not only getting a new project from another person. You can create a new one. Okay. Example, Quarkus API generator. I proposed a new extension called mock to generate mock from OpenAPI. Okay, but answer your question, it's a good when we have a new project. It's a good opportunity, but you need to be consistent. You need to be here in the project and see the pull requests, see the communication, our issues, and okay, and be constant. But you can create a project too. We have here in Brazil some new projects created by the community, and you can create a new one too. Basically,
It becomes part
it's
of
my
your
opinion.
daily work, right?
Yeah,
So to be consistent, you need to put that on your schedule.
yeah, you need to be constant. I remember a phrase of Helber that he said. Helber separate 2 hours in the beginning, the morning, to contribute with
Mm,
open source. We need to be constant, basically.
that's it. That's with everything. Even when the consistent is a word, right? I truly remember when we got Elder Moraes here talking about contributing to the community with writing, he also mentioned about consistency, contributing through writing articles, contributing it consistently, like we do here with our podcast bi-weekly. We're consistently here. It's the same with open source. Consistency is key for everything, right? Would
Yeah,
like you to add something on that, Helber?
Uh, yeah, regarding contributing to new projects or mature projects, I don't think that there is right or wrong. Uh, for new projects, sometimes it may be hard to contribute because the project is evolving so fast, and maybe you don't have much time to contribute. For example, a project like Quarkus, which was born inside Red Hat. Red Hat has several engineers working full time on that, and they are creating so much code that you may not be able to follow, or you don't even know the roadmap because it's not that open yet,
Oh,
right?
I see.
So for this kind of project that is born inside a company, in one single company, for example, it may be very hard to contribute. For projects that are more multi-company, like, I don't know, the Llama Stack, for example, which is Meta is the creator, but we have Red Hat contributing now, for example. It's in the beginning, and it has more than one company contributing, so it may be more open, let's say. So it will be way easier than some that is not that open.
I see.
Uh,
Because the rhythm, it will not change so much. They are having different inputs from different community members and companies, right? You can
yeah, well,
follow the
not only that, they may have a more open process, a more
uh,
open community, like uh, Discord channels or Slack channels that are open to anyone join. On the contrary, in a project that is born inside a company like Quarkus, for example, I didn't participate in the beginning of the project, so it's just assumptions here, but I imagine it was something closed. People were discussing in an internal channels, so you can contribute to something like that, right, in the beginning. So yeah, that's the that's my point. Uh,
makes total
for
sense.
yeah, for more mature projects, uh, they are not that exciting because they are old projects, let's say, uh, but they may have a more open community and better process for open source. So it may be easier for you to contribute, but it may be hard in the technical aspect because they are mature. So
Exactly.
your contributions will be to bug fixes that are very hard to fix, or uh, very edge cases that hard to reproduce sometimes. So there's no right or wrong. Uh, you have to find your thing and try.
Yeah, the
you need
question was exactly because Matheus mentioned you had a goal of doing lots of contributions. If you get a mature project like this, you cannot do all of those contributions, right?
mature project has you need to have more context
Yeah.
compared with not mature or a new project example. An example is, oh, okay, I will get the first pull request to see, but if you see Quarkus, you have more than 2,000 per request. The context is
Yes.
it's bigger, and basically it's a trade-off. I don't know, but you have more context in a big project, and the challenge can be bigger too to start. And okay, you can start with documentation, with simple issues, etc.
Also, for mature
So,
projects, in many times there are more people contributing, so it's hard to you're competing with other contributors to find that issue, to fix that issue. So if you try to, it's hard to find an issue that nobody's working on. And when you, if you find some of these issues, they are probably very hard to fix, uh, or someone can fix it faster than you, and you wasted your time. So yeah, that there are some aspects are easier, some are harder. That's why I say that there's no right or wrong.
Exactly. Maybe you will, let's imagine a scenario where you have a service that it's implemented with that version of the framework, and it's easier to fix a specific bug on that framework than migrating it to a newer version that would require a massive refactor. So maybe putting a pull request to fix that bug, that specific bug, is easier than doing a massive refactor in the whole system.
Yeah, I think instead of thinking, oh, I want to contribute to a new project or a mature project, instead of choosing that way, I would say for you to choose the project that you use a lot, or that you know a lot,
Yep.
or that you want to learn about it, because, or the one things that you like, because it will be, it will make easier for you to be consistent, because it's something that you like, or if you use on your work or something, you keep doing that. If you try to contribute to something just because it's new, next
So
week there's
cool
something
and hype.
new, and then you jump to another project.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you will give up and you will not
Yeah.
enjoy it, and so makes total sense to be something that you're actually in touch with.
Yeah.
guys, I know that we are past our time here, but I promise that I have just a very quick question here. I just wanted to know, is there some skills that you think are really important to know for people that wants to start contributing? For example, Git. I think Git is very important for you to know how to use it properly. Without Git, you can't contribute it to anything on GitHub, right? Is there some other skills that you recommend?
Yeah, English.
Yeah.
There are several Brazilians here, but English is essential. Um, Communicating well, in a sense of being a nice person. Uh, I I had some experience in the community working with unpolite persons, people, people, or people who think that the contributor is his employee, and say bad things about it. Oh, you need to fix this. You broke this. These kind of things. People don't understand that this is an open source community, and everyone is responsible for that. Uh, yeah, I think that's the the most required skills. Do you have something to add, Matheus?
The communication, it's a great point. We need to be resilient again, because don't we need to be resilient, basically, and constant. I think that if you are, for example, Quarkus and Spring, the basic of that technology, for example, that language, Java, the basic, and sometimes you need to, for example, to start it to know a new technology. By example, a GitHub action. Okay, I do not have this knowledge, but you can acquire it. And the open source is to acquire some things too. By example, the soft skills. You get new knowledges, new soft skills, new hard skills, and the goal here is to to improve your knowledge about some technologies. And I think Albert said all things that you need to have to start. Okay.
That's
Also,
very interesting.
I remember another one, which is you be in touch with people from all the world with different cultures. So you have to be open and don't discriminate people, be polite. Uh,
Yeah.
most projects, all big projects actually have um, uh, policy, code of conduct. So you can't discriminate anyone and only uh, people grow because of their contributions and not because they are from Brazil, because they are from US, because they are black or because they are white or man, woman, anything.
I have
Yeah,
a last one. Sorry, I we have the pastime here, but uh, don't worry about the pull request comment. Uh, Try to learn with that comment. Uh, it's a good point too. Uh,
The feedback, you mean, right?
huh?
You mean
Sorry.
the feedback, the review, the
Yeah,
code
the
review.
feedback, the code review. Try to learn a lot of okay, when you get a review.
It's like not get hurt. It's not something
Yeah,
about you. It's
yeah.
it's
have
your
Don't take
something
it
mindset.
to improve
personal.
and not yes.
Yeah.
It's not about you. It's about your code only. And that's
And this is
something
not
interesting.
only for open source, right?
Exactly,
The
that's
review.
for in life, and that's very something related to what Albert mentioned about people from around the world and the culture difference between each countries. Because when you have the word says it a community in places like in Europe, they are much more clear what is the sense of community, where people tend to help each other. You have public transportation, and that differs from other places in the world, like there are the difference of community that everyone is helping and the hero. No, in what I see that in open source projects, they want contributors, people that are helping each other to build something together, and not heroes like the guy that you've mentioned that they did a huge pull request, dropped the bomb, and just disappeared. It could be an awesome contribution and it worked perfectly, but it didn't. And since he just did one single contribution, he disappeared. And also, you mentioned, I believe you mentioned now, Matheus, about the communication with everyone and the different cultures and the code of conduct. That's also a growing opportunity to be in touch with people around the world, right? Like we are doing right now. Silla is in Switzerland. Switzerland, right? Silla.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, even for you to improve your English because you're in touch with different accents. Uh, you're in touch with Indians, with Americans, with Europeans, with people from everywhere. So you learn a lot uh, different accents and improve your English.
Mhm.
Great. I think, Luis, do you I couldn't get if you want me to close specifically. You have some. Anyone have to say something? I put the red hat shirt, and I also picked my red hat
Oh,
since we are
Hugo,
talking about open source.
let me just drop a bomb here. Guys,
Oh,
especially
go
for
ahead.
Elber, you're from Red Hat. I saw a huge movement of people from Red Hat moving to IBM today. What happened? IBM bought a part of Red Hat, bought Red Hat itself. Can you tell us about it? You know it?
Yeah, the team that supports middleware, Java, Quarkus, Node.js, this kind of technologies, uh, is moving to IBM because IBM is supporting these customers for now. So yeah, that's what happened. The teams that support these projects are moving to IBM.
Okay, but now Quarkus is part of IBM. It
Uh,
more
Quarkus is an open source project. Uh,
okay.
Most people that contribute to Quarkus are from Red Hat because Red Hat is the creator of that. But this to answer this, those people that work at Red Hat and are fully allocated to Quarkus are moving to IBM today.
Oh, I see. I see. So good luck for them in this new and endeavors.
Yeah, there's an announcement in the Red Hat website. So
Mm-hmm.
if anyone is interested in learning more about that, you can look.
Yeah, I took a look, but having it from someone from Red Hat's first hand live in the day that it happens is much better.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to thanks again Helber and Matheus for being here. I have actually lots of questions regarding to open source and also the future with AI, but let's talk about it on the next session. Uh, Also, would like to thanks everyone here, Luis, Chila, Thiago, and Igor. And if you are watching us and would like to start with open source, like Jose already asked here for repositories and stuff, you are able to actually connect with Matheus and Helber Belmiro. They are the maintainers of some of the repositories in Quarkus extensions. Helber, Matheus, what is the best way people like Jose or anyone that would like to start with open source, contribute with open source, can connect with you too? What is the best social media you would like to share here?
You can connect with me on GitHub, which is my handle hbelmiro. There you can find any links to other social media and to my blog, which is thegreatapi.com.
Cool.
You can find everything there on
And you,
GitHub.
Matheus?
Yeah, okay. You can follow that in my GitHub too. We have a link to Quarkus Lip Chat. You can talk with me in LinkedIn too. Is Matheus Cruz, and I have a site too where I write about Quarkus and software in general. It's matheuscruz.dev. Okay.
I'm trying to get the links here so I can share on the
Yeah.
chat. And yeah, and just want to mention Matheus dropped it here. I shared on the link on the chat a YouTube video explaining how to contribute on Quarkus extensions. Right, Matheus?
Yeah, it's a good point to start. The idea with this playlist is to solve some challenges when you are starting contributing with Quarkus extension. Okay, you have documentation about it, but it's more practice, hands-on approach to start.
Excellent. So I'm
Absolutely.
sharing here the links. So that's it. Just finishing to share the links and want to thanks everyone that was watching us, and see you on the next session. Bye bye.
Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Matheus.
Thank
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
you.
See you next session.
Thank you, everyone.